dealing with mostly not just the driver, they're not dealing with the other travelers.
They just like designing cars the way they are. They love it. I understand. It's fun. It's great. It's sexy. But they're not really looking at the real needs of people. Whoever says the other way around, no, we are not artists. We should serve the community. We'll serve the community by serving ourselves, which is self-expression in the right dosage. I have students who came back from war. They came back to class, and I asked them to draw cubes. I said, God, I come from hell. My friends were killed and injured. I'm gonna draw cubes now. I'm gonna do little models of cardboard.
Hi, it's great to have this conversation.
Very happy to be here, Anoop.
Welcome to Alliance University, and it's my pleasure to have a conversation with you. And you've been having a very, very interesting experience, work experience, like working as like car designer, working as like product designer. You are a very good like design educator, and it's my pleasure to have the conversation with you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think we can start the conversation, which is very close to your heart, which is car design. Obviously, you started your career as a car designer. What is your what do you have to say about car design?
Okay, when I used to work in Paris, etc., I used to tell people that I'm a car designer. First of all, they said, "Oh no, computers do it." So they think computers do it, and then they said, "Oh, that's exotic. Car designer. I've never met a car designer." Now, there are obviously a few professions. I don't know, astronaut, being a spy, car designer, that they seem exotic. And the fact is that when you wake up in the morning, you design cars, this is your life, this is your profession. You love it, but it's not exotic. It's the routine of your life. So it's a great profession. You do work a lot with intuition, with your passion, but with both sides of your personality and brain. You have to be precise, you have to be systematic, you have to be like product design, no difference. But there's a lot of emotion and there's a lot of intuition and a lot of things that are unexplained.
Okay.
I hope this somehow.
Yeah, but like I just want to know, like, does that evolved over the years? Like when you started in 1987, like till this time, like definitely there are a lot of changes in the car design or the look, the technology, everything has changed. Does that evolved?
It's a very good question. Yes, a lot of things have changed. Architecture, product design, car design, and obviously other fields. The means, the tools are quite amazing. Computers, we still sketch by hands. We still have to feel and even model. They still have clay modeling. But I think, unfortunately, what hasn't changed is the basic approach of companies, car companies, manufacturers, and even designers. I love car design. I have a lot of friends who are car designer. And the problem is that they love cars. Aha. Why is it a problem? Because they love what exists. They do not really look for something new. And one has to evolve. Not only the electric cars, but the fact that cars are becoming autonomous.
Do you mean by like the style of car they doubt?
The style is changing a bit, like fashion. Some are better, some are less. But the general character, visual character of a car is almost the same. They're all serious. They're all symmetrical. They're all high-tech looking. They have to be elegant. There's no really. If you're choosing your clothes or your furniture at home or your jewelry, you have an amazing wide range of choice. With cars, they tell you what to you can't choose, you can't customize. You can't. Well, customize is not a good expression, good word definition. You can't choose something that really present your character.
So you need to choose from the options they are presenting,
and they're all very much the same. Quite stand out. There's nothing really standing out. And also the experience in the car. Traffic jams. Does it offer you something new? Can you communicate between the cars? If you have kids in the car, they're impatient. Does the car design actually take into consideration all these issues?
So like you are saying, like they are dealing with mostly not just the driver, they are not dealing with the other travelers.
They just like designing cars the way they are. They love it. I understand. It's fun. It's great. It's sexy. But they're not really looking at the real needs of people.
So I just want to like move a little bit further, because like you've been working with a lot of different products, not just the car. You designed medical devices like the MRI scan, those kind of things, and you designed a spacecraft also, like for Israeli private company, I think. So what do you think? Like, what is the main difference between car design and product design?
You have good questions. You can get an A on your questions. Okay, first of all, there are many things that are in common.
Mhm.
The common thing in this, assuming you're a chef and you like cooking, you don't really care what you cook. You cook, whether it's this thing or that, or I like baking. The act of baking, the act of cooking, I don't care exactly what. So whether I used to think, oh, designing cars is sexy and wonderful, and designing a medical stuff, oh, it's a bit gloomy and a bit no. The act of creating something, there's a technology, there's a given data, the people there are going to use it, and you have to create the magic. I mean, it sounds a bit of a cliche, but for me, there's no difference. Whether it's a baby bottle or a spacecraft or a very serious medical machine that's gonna save your life, I don't care. People are going to live with it. And you as a designer, I mean, engineers are important, and marketing people are important, ergonomics and financial people. And all this are really, but one person, whether it's a she or a he, who really makes the difference, because all the cars, they do the same. All the products almost do the same. They make a juice, they make a toast, they have coffee, a bed, furniture. There's this X factor that you cannot explain, you can't teach. Don't tell anyone. We are in the academy. We cannot really teach it. It's unexplainable. This is where we're responsible for. And I'd like people, it sounds not very modest, but I like them to fall in love with everything I do, even if it's technical, if it's industrial, and if it's medical. So, but there are some differences.
Yeah, difference, like, yeah, I totally understand your point of view. Like, there will be some difference, like
Yes,
the approach.
Obviously, you have to be very attentive to the needs of the users. Definitely. Okay. Also, if it's a nice vase for a plant at home, what are the needs? The technicalities are less important, but obviously with a medical device, with an industrial device, with something that a robot that performs surgical procedures, you really have to learn a lot, understand a lot of things that you don't know, and work with engineers and make the magic with the constraints. With all the constraints, you can't just say, "Oh, I'm an artist. Let them manage." No. You have to take. If the engineers are good and you're good, the product will be successful.
Yeah, like moving ahead, like taking what you just explained, like definitely the product design in future is going to be very different. There are a lot of things which is happening right now, like the AI or the sustainability, like the whole globe is like going to waste like the less carbon footprint. They are trying to like creating something like which is it's not harmful for the earth, and there are a lot of like due to the global situation, like a lot of things are changing. The manufacturing plant is like changing from one country to another country. How that's going to affect the product design? Like, do you have any?
You tell me. I'm not a prophet. I wasn't in the future. If you have a time machine, okay, I can only.
So
I can
what
only guess.
why I'm asking is because like you worked in 90s, and now like in 2025 there are a lot of things changed in technology.
Okay. First of all, I'm not a prophet, so the future, as we know, I mean, in my country, in Israel, crazy things. I mean, really horrible things has happened the last year. The war, so recessions. We cannot really know what will happen. So that's the basic thing. But this every person would say that. That's not interesting. Looking backwards, yes, the technology has evolved amazingly. It's in a way easier to get from an idea to a physical product easier with rapid prototyping, with all the computer application things. Yes, what is still a challenge, as always, maybe even more, because it's like taking photograph. I mean, everyone today, a baby is born with a smartphone. So we take thousands of pictures. Does this make the profession of photography easier? Maybe even more difficult because there's so much. How can you stand out? How can you make something special? And thinking and feeling and being creative is, in a way, the same as it was. And one more thing. For example, we all know Pinterest. Pinterest is, you can get any piece of information that you want in seconds. Now, is it good? Is it bad? Yes. It's good because you can get anywhere you want. You want to see something, yeah, da, da. It's bad because it's so frustrating how many gifted people are in the world. It's, wow, I'll never be able to match that. So it's both things. Sometimes having less is maybe one should stop for a minute, not look at things, and work without it. So where will it go? I think designers will have to be more creative because everyone thinks they can design today. And AI, oh wonderful, interesting, very interesting, frightening. Today it's still not a competition. I hope it'll be a tool again. I hope it will, help designers be better.
So yeah, I think talking about this, like there are a lot of technologies, especially AR, VR. Like in car design, like I think the industry is kind of shifting to ways like instead of making clay modeling like as a prototype, they are like doing like sketch graffiti, like gravity sketch. There's a software like which they can sketch in the space and use the a VR glass, so they can walk around, experience the whole thing.
Lovely, wonderful, welcome. Anything that will make, I'd love to. I work very, very quickly. I sketch all the time, and that would be great to be able to do a 3D theme. The only little thing, well, only one of the things that I think one should be aware of, going back to clay modeling, the industry still with all the computers and the milling, at the end of the day, there's a clay model and people work by hand. You know why? Because you have to feel it. At the end of the day, the product is going to be there in the street. You're going to sit in it, you're going to look at it, you're going to touch it, you're going to use it, you're going to be surrounded by it. So there's something that needs to be there. Pixels are wonderful, but they're not enough.
Yes, like there are a lot of situations. You also mentioned about the war situation in Israel, not just Israel, like Ukraine, everywhere is there, and it's kind of and the COVID. It's like a big. Now we are not like dealing with COVID, but still like we are dealing with the COVID impact of COVID circumstances, like and the sanctions. There are a lot of like other global situations which is kind of affecting the global market. Even DeepSeek, the latest one, like which is kind of created a big dip in the US market. So these kind of global financial situations, is that really affecting the design? What is your take on that?
I'm sure it does. It affects everything. I'll give you a quick example with the COVID. I've got my studio, I'm designing, but also teaching. And in the COVID, obviously, we couldn't be physically in class, had to be in Zoom. And one of the things I'm teaching is sketching cars. And I demonstrate in class, it's the studio. They see exactly, I'll show you after some of my sketches. I sketch all the time. And they really see me physically. And I'm with there and I help them and I correct them and I show them really like when you learn how to play the violin. I can't play anything, but you obviously have to know exactly how to hold this and that. So the head of the department said, please teach them by Zoom. I said, what? No way. I'm not teaching by Zoom. You go look for your friends. I'm not, I don't care. And then I said to myself, you arrogant, what is this attitude? You're behaving like some of the students that you criticize. You have to be positive. This is a challenge. The COVID is there. Nobody invited it. But can I do something? I said, okay, I'm going to pick up the glove and, face the challenge. And I said, okay, yes, I really was angry with myself. I was really embarrassed and ashamed. And I prepared sets of 10-minute videos, demos, me sketching, rendering, looking for forms, explaining exactly. And it was amazing. It was better than my live demo. You know why? Because when you do it live, people don't understand. Oh, I won't remember. It looks magic. Then when they have video, they can stop it, rerun. It was amazing. That was something. The result is not so important, but the principle that it forced me and us to think differently, to understand that reality is there. You can bitch about it till tomorrow. And you mentioned the war. Also, war is a shock where a lot of us are post-traumatic, whether directly infected. We lost a student who was killed in the war, and everyone knows someone, and really crazy tragedies. How will that affect already the projects that students choose to work on are related? Post-trauma, people at home, people who lost their, people who try to get back to some normality. They don't just, okay, let's design a chair, let's design a coffee machine. No. By experiencing all this, it definitely affects how we think, what we choose to deal with. There are not solutions yet, but it's going there. Faculty and students.
Students, both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think yeah, you just mentioned about like it's very emotional, like especially when you're working with design, and if you are going through these kind of traumas or like these kind of situations, it will affect the emotions. And as car designer or as product designer, we usually work with forms. So and this emotion is going to definitely affect the forms, right?
First of all, I don't know. It may be the other way around. Maybe the somber, the dark feelings will force us to do something more cheerful with hope. I don't know. It's a good question. Because there is self-expression in design, definitely. Whoever says the other way around, no, we are not artists, we should serve the community. We'll serve the community by serving ourselves, which is self-expression in the right dosage. I have students who came back from war. They came back to class, and I asked them to draw cubes. I said, God, I come from hell. My friends were killed and injured. I'm gonna draw cubes now. I'm gonna do little models of cardboard. And we talked about it. And I said to them, I think, cautiously, I think that if you study law and you're in war, if you study medicine to be a doctor, or engineering, or liberal, whatever, and you come back to class and you suddenly have to learn by heart, understand texts, learn about the human body. I don't know. But if you come back and you're a designer, you work with your hands, you work with your heart, you work with your soul. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but I think it's better. Sometimes it's therapeutic. Sometimes the actual doing of it, it will not solve the problem. It will not bring back the dead. It will not definitely make you a happy person in a minute. But I think I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, I think that's for as a teacher also. Like it's really after hearing that, like dealing with these kind of students, it's not that easy task. Like it's very.
But I think they understood and they appreciated it, and it made it easier for them to go into this what looks so stupid task. I'm doing. My friends are being killed. I'm doing cubes. I'm doing compositions. Yeah, this is for the soul, for everyone.
Yeah, I think finally I just want to tackle a classic debate, like where the functionality versus aesthetics.
Oh, aesthetics versus functionality.
So, like we talked about, like emotion, forms, and
Great.
everything.
I
Like,
love and hate this question. It's good. It's good that you raised it. It's a classic question. Definitely the Bauhaus. Definitely the 40s, 50s, 60s form follows function. In Israel, there was a whole thing with architecture. architects, Israel is a young country, a bit like India independence. We got our independence at the same time, roughly. And you have to be, aesthetics not all that important. It has to be functional. Now, it's a no question. If something is not aesthetic, if something doesn't appeal to you emotionally, aesthetically, I'm not saying beautiful. Beautiful is a big word, but the first use of a product is by looking at it. It's like quantum mechanics. Just by mentioning the particle, you influence the experiment. It's crazy. That's quantum mechanics, and it's real. Just by looking at the product, you're already using it. And you need to have some kind of an emotional bond. If something does everything, it's in the kitchen, so it cuts the food and it cooks it and it does everything great, but you don't want it. You don't want it in your kitchen. Is it functional? It is not. You need to want it, whatever it is. Yeah, it'll do all the rest, not on the account, not aesthetic, but not doing all the rest. It does all the rest, but it has to do something to your heart.
Means like it needs to connect with emotionally and
Definitely. So aesthetics is part of the functionality. If it's not aesthetically pleasing, significant, powerful, whatever, it is not functional. Point.
So
Was I
saying
clear?
it's clear, very clear. I think very clear to the point. So that means like you need to put like aesthetics as like the main function, like which you need to serve.
I'm not saying that. Okay, I am saying it, but in one condition, that you really understand all the other constraints. It has to be economically sound. It has to be at the right price. It has to be as sustainable. All these should be taken into consideration, but not on the account. Well, it's not so beautiful, but it solves problems. No, this is the problem. Okay? and another thing, if a product is really well designed, you will not want to throw it away and buy another one. And this is a sustainability in a sense that no one talks about. I brought from Japan a little cup that I drink my coffee from. I will not change it in 100 years. I do not want any new one. I'll stick to it. There's something about it, very simple and irreplaceable. So if you have a piece of furniture, if you have a piece of something, a pen or something, a coffee machine, that will maybe bring down a bit the consumption, maybe.
Yeah, I think like when you talk about like the cup, like I still remember like I have like few furnitures from my grandfather, but like I don't think like most of my father's furniture I'm not using, like they are like not good, like which is not like sustaining for like.
You should bring them to class or at least photograph them for your students.
To show
Teach them
the quality of the.
Can you design something? This is very, very ambitious. Maybe. Can you design something that will be there for generations?
Yeah. It's kind of eternal design. Kind
of and that's why you should be a bit careful with fashion. With all my respect for fashion, sometimes you have to be above fashion.
Yes.
Something that really is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Thank you, Alex, for a wonderful and like
my pleasure. Thank you for hosting me.
Yeah, thank you. Like, do you have any final thoughts or like final advice for this upcoming designers?
No, I just want to show that I recommend everyone, students and everyone, just to sketch all the time. I'm sketching whether it's on the plane or in the campus or in a museum, whatever, or whether it's just whatever it is. It's hands or horses or products or whatever. So I recommend for everyone not to stop sketching. With all the digital era, just sketch all the time.
With your hand, like.
With your hand.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.